For as much division as there is in the world today, we can all agree on one thing. Ron Pearlman was the best Hellboy. Del Toro's Hellboy's movies are some of the most underrated superhero movies of all time. They are timeless and pull you into that supernatural world with amazing creatures, world building, and visuals. And really just make you want to explore and immerse yourself in that world. Well, luckily we can try. Let's take a look at Hellboy's The Science of Evil. In case you don't know, Hellboy is a superhero mainly focusing on the supernatural aspects. He's this big red half-demon dude set with a tail, horns that he shaves down, and he's equipped with a revolver and a giant right hand. So yeah, he's pretty cool. Released in 2008, just before the second movie released, Hellboy Science of Evil was published by Konami, and both Mike Mignola, the comic creator, and Guillermo del Toro himself were involved, along with Ron Pearlman reprising the role.
You know, I'm starting to get the feeling you're avoiding me.
The story begins in Romania, where Hellboy is tasked to find this witch. After some chasing across a few chapters, he falls down into a village where we are taken to 25 years before, on a prior mission in Japan where we are looking for the wind that was stolen by Hermann von Klempt, who wants it to make some undead Nazis with it somehow. So after that mission, we're taken back to the present time where he's still chasing down the first witch. We deal with her and end up finding some Nazis, frog monsters, aka failed experiments of our old pal HVK. Then we go back again 40 years this time, getting to learn about his other attempts to bringing back the Nazis, where he tried using aliens for his experiments and what that ultimately led to. Then we're back again to the present where we washed up on the shores of a castle to confront our old pal Mr. Herman and his abominations. I gotta be honest, story-wise, this game is all over the place, as you can tell. There was never really an established structure. I was never quite sure what the hell the mission was. Was it to find the witch? Was it to get Herman? It feels like you're tossed in the middle of an ongoing investigation, never really starting one on your own. I thought, okay, maybe we have to deal with one case per chapter, and each chapter is a different case. But no, they just kind of blend these two cases together, so I was kind of lost for a second there, because it just keeps going aimlessly. You don't ever really know what's your ultimate objective. So when it ends and how it ends, you're kind of left going, huh? Because the damn witch pops out again. So other than stopping Nazis, was, yeah, that's always a good thing, he didn't actually complete his original case. So you're left incomplete. You're not teased as in like what's next. It's incomplete. Like there's a lot missing there. I thought, okay, maybe there's going to be some DLC to be released to kind of like complete the witch hunt story, but no. There was planned DLC for another playable character named Lobster Johnson, who's going to be played by Bruce Campbell, but that was canceled, which sounds kind of cool. How do you that up? But nothing more of the story was going to be added. To me, this is like the biggest disappointing part of the game. It felt like it was all over the place, but nowhere at the same time. I like that it covered a few cases, but more structure was just desperately needed. You can play this game in couch co-op. You can have the second player pick between Abe Sapien or Liz Sherman, and each is equipped with their own moves and abilities. I am forever alone, so I tried to play this by myself just to check them out. Liz has pyrokinesis and Abe has some martial arts, but other than just being playable, they don't really do much for the characters. They're not featured in any cutscenes, they're not involved in the story, they can't even open doors.
Knock, knock.
Hellboy is still our main honcho, who's voiced pretty great by Pearlman. He sounds a bit chiller, but other than that, you can really tell there's effort there. Back then, actors' voiceovers really overdid it or underdid it dramatically. And I think Pearlman is in a nice middle. I think he nailed the horns on the head.
This is my floor. Lines like that'll get you a bad reputation.
He feels big and strong. He moves fairly well. You have your light and heavy punches. You can hold down the triangle for more powerful charged hits. There's obviously a combo list where you can do certain moves. You can grab smaller enemies and chuck them, kick them, or pummel them. The bigger enemies you will need to stun to be able to get to do that. But it feels kind of cool to do so. You just hold on to them and just beat the crap out of them. You will also regain health by slamming them. This is the only way to regain health during the game. You grab an enemy, you hit X in the PlayStation's case, you toss them up in the air, and then hit triangle to slam them down, and you get some HP. This can be annoying while you're in a crowded area when you need to recover and you accidentally kill the guy that's stunned, but it's never felt crippling or impossible to do so. It's just kind of an annoying step. There are crypts he opens up like Kratos and tears apart doors to proceed. Sometimes you're left with parts of the door to kind of use as a weapon. I actually kind of like that feature. There's actually a ton of stuff to pick up. Swords, mallets, shovels, 2x4s, exploding heads, torches, hammers, just a ton of pickable items are available, but they don't really last that long, so the fun doesn't last. Just before you know it, the item breaks, and so you have to scramble around to pick up another one. You can also throw them too, which deals significantly more damage, but if you do throw them, it's gone forever. You can't pick it up even though it's laying right there. You can also take weapons away from enemies by performing like this automatic takedown. It will cost you one of these blue balls of energies. And again, like a bully, you just snatch the weapon away. Some enemies are weaker to certain weapons, and these stupid zombies need really specific ammo to be taken down faster. In this whole chapter, not only is it annoying to kind of mine the ammo, but you fill them one by one. You have to break these crystals and then pick them up. You can only carry 7 at a time, but it's not like they're super hard to find. They're easily available to you. It's just a tedious process to mine them. Otherwise, you're going to have to be fighting these undead knuckleheads for a very long time and probably get nowhere. So you really need to mine these things. But these crystals are just one of many bullets that Hellboy can load into his revolver, which I like. It makes sense to highlight his revolver, and they did it in a cool way. You have normal ammo, shotgun shells, grenade bullets, fire bullets. They're all pretty cool. There's also one that freezes, and I like that it worked on any enemy, no matter the size. You know how sometimes you use something on a bigger enemy or a boss and it doesn't affect them? Well, I find it refreshing that the freeze does work on any enemy in the game. Like, it doesn't matter the size or how important the enemy is, they all froze. But each chapter you start with different set of bullets, like the ammo at your disposal changes, I guess because you go back in time so you don't have those bullets at that time or something, I don't know, but the inconsistency of the ammo can be a bit annoying. They also work on a lock-on system, which worked fine for the most part. Where I wanted to aim, it aimed. It's responsive enough, it works fine. You can also free aim, which does not work at all, really. If you let go of the stick, the reticle disappears, so you have to like barely move it to make sure it's moving so it doesn't disappear. So I would look at things that look shootable and shoot them, and nothing would really happen, so why even have the reticle there? Like, what was the whole point? Which, to the game's credit, it did a fair job with the camera. It didn't feel like it was in the way. So maybe because you don't control the camera, they wanted to give the joystick a job so it doesn't grow up to be a bum. So maybe because of that, they decided to add a free aim, but there's no real use for it. Combat after a while did feel repetitive and goofy at times, especially in those big crowds I mentioned. You can dodge to kind of get out of the way, but what you're supposed to do is use the Hellfire special. This is your typical press the double triggers, Hellboy bursts into flames and he deals more damage, but it also drains your balls. And in the beginning, you don't have that many balls, so it doesn't last that long either. It doesn't feel like it helps much because you're not really protected. You can still get hit. So you get a couple of licks in, you kill a couple of enemies, and it's done before you know it. There isn't a sense of, oh shit, I'm dying. Let me activate my Fury Hell blazing thingy. Because when you do, it's not like anything changes. There's a lot you can destroy around you that helps you fill up your balls, but as a special attack, it doesn't really feel that special, like at all. I would have preferred to have like 4 different special attacks that you can find coins or use some to upgrade with. He could have used with like a big ground slam or something with a sword. I don't know, anything but this. This was really lame. Also, I was really disappointed that he couldn't block. So you have this giant arm and you're not going to block with it? Like, what's up with that? I don't know. It just seems like the logical step to have Hellboy block with his giant arm. The game is super linear. You will find clues that will give you like blue ball pieces to increase the amount of balls. You can also find artifacts and lore as well. There are only 6 chapters and the environments are different and actually fit the Hellboy supernatural spooky thing very well. Even in Japan, which doesn't sound like it would, but the whole warriors fighting, I don't know, it fits. It was kind of cool to see him in that setting. I like the music as well. It fit each setting and the tone that Hellboy carries. There are werewolves, skeletons, samurais, and zombies, but taking down normal enemies isn't particularly satisfying. Bigger dudes need to get stunned to start a quick time event to take them down. There are also a handful of boss fights, a couple of times versus that witch, but they aren't super interactive. Just felt like, oh, you have to throw something at her, hit her in the head. There are a couple that are a little bit more elaborate. The best boss fight might be the one versus the big dune worm thingy. Because like I said, there's something to it. You have to run around, find an opening, hit them, pull a lever, aim the lever. There's just simply a little bit more to it. And the game is pretty easy as well. You can complete it all around 6 hours, so it's pretty short and really feels unfinished. There's no costumes to put on Hellboy, no usable unlockables like another character. You do get interviews and behind the scenes stuff, but that's about it. So unless I pick it up to replay it with somebody who really wants to, I don't see myself playing this ever again. I didn't hear much about this game when it came out. It got hit by bad reviews, citing repetitive combat and below par graphics belonging to the previous generation. I actually don't think the graphics are that bad. I actually thought that they hold up quite well. They have good detail and I can tell what the hell I'm looking at on the screen. I will agree on the combat though. It starts out fun but quickly becomes repetitive and stale. I do feel the reviews went a little bit hard on this game. I mean, it has a ton of potential. You just have to remake the whole thing. I mean, I love the setting. Some of the characters' interactions he comes across are some of the highlights of the game, and it needed more of that. Coming across creatures and ghouls maybe who needed help to take down a bigger creature who's making a mess or investigating an anomaly, and especially a more concise story. Make the combat more compelling and you have a decent Hellboy game. Is it worth playing today? I'm going to say solo, probably not. But if you have someone to go through it with, making fun along the way, that always helps. That's what I really miss about couch co-op. It can make decent and even bad games just a fun experience with somebody. But those were my thoughts. I want to hear yours down in the comments. Do you remember playing Hellboy Science of Evil back then? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Any and all thoughts? Hellboy, let me know down in the comments. And for more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to always and forever, you do.
Even Dorothy wouldn't steal Ruby's slippers off those things. Well, this looks like fun.